Guys, let's get to it. So this is the chart that I've been using as a reference for this range. As you can see, it's been quite clean as we've been sort of auctioning for the last 4 months. Over here, we had a sweep of this sort of value area high area. This is where I was quite vocally bearish. This is where I was looking for shorts. Managed to tag a really great sort of entry up here. Filled my positions, and we rode it all the way back down to the mean and all the way down to the other extreme end of the edge. So as you can see, Bitcoin's been hugging this sort of value area floor that's, spans for the last 4 months, this sort of quarterly value area low at around 18,700, 18,800, depending on the exchange you use, give or take. And it was quite noteworthy last week as the S&P 500 made new lows in 3,500s. Bitcoin was able to sort of hold this area. So as long as this area holds, you kind of have to be bull biased. There's some things that are emerging right now that I don't quite like, so I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. This right here is just looking at open interest. I'm just looking at Binance. You can go to Coinalyze and other places to see the aggregated open interest. I just want to use this as a quick example. I believe a lot of people are getting excited over the potential prospect of this. I'm not a trend line trader, but I like to watch what the market is obviously watching. And if you see, this is quite clean. We have this trend line that everyone's been watching that dates back to whatever the drop that we had. I don't know if this is too clear. I know the colors are not great, but this is open interest over here. This is price, and you can see, yeah, I mean, we've either broken through it or we're encroaching on it. Regardless, it's a key level that everyone's watching, and I believe that might have to do with some of the froth that we're seeing here. But this kind of ramp up is quite noteworthy relative to what price is doing. So just something to be aware of. Other things that I'm looking at that kind of are a cause of concern. This is a basic basis oscillator that accounts for like spot and futures discrepancy, perps discrepancy. And basically when things start to get frothy and extended, it shows up in white. You get these white regions here, and these blue areas are sort of areas of cool down, periods to look for longs, accumulation, etc. So you can see again right now, price is barely at 20K, and I'm starting to get sort of warning signals in that regard. Another thing that I'm a little bit cautious about, you can see over here when I last looked at this chart, I shared it on Twitter. We were in a low volatility regime then, and we got a nice 20+% move from the top to the bottom. Once again, we're flashing very extreme levels of volatility, constriction, and I've marked out areas on the chart where that was also apparent. So regardless of opinions, we're in for a pretty substantial move, I think, any day now. Obviously, we've been saying this for the last 3 weeks, and we're sort of hugging 20 and 19K, but I do believe something is imminent. When everyone isn't expecting something or an outcome, or we get complacent in a range, this is when the big breaks occur. Finally, just want to look at S&P. We've everyone was super bearish, going into this week. Saw lots of targets of 3,300 and below, and we've rallied like close to 7% off the lows. So phenomenal move from the S&P 500. Bitcoin's been quite lackluster in comparison. I do believe, though, we're in for a bit of a pullback today. That's why I will be short bias going into today. You can see this little consolidation block here. We're sort of hugging it now. Maybe we run it a little bit higher, 38.50, 38.40. But I do believe, if I had to call it, I think S&P is setting up for some sort of reversion back down into the 36.50, 36.70 region. But yeah, going into this again, guys, intraday, look, I mean, I'm not really keen on longing this in this area here. I'm just going to be honest. I think we're sort of reaching a key inflection point in the market. Where would I look to position? Look, if we run this sort of area here to the side, I could see this little area here. Maybe we poke up into this little inefficient area in the 21K zone. Ultimately, though, I don't think this has enough sort of juice to squeeze. And I think the upside is sort of capped. And I believe that we'll probably see some sort of substantial reversion back down into the 19,000s as a primary target. And maybe even as low as 18,700. If we lose 18,700, guys, I mean, I really think we're going to run this sort of lows here, right? And given the volatility constriction, in the market right now, I could see us even around the 16s. So I hope that helps. Bias is definitely to the downside. Where am I wrong? Well, I'm definitely wrong with a clean break above. This 21,700 pivot here was a previous range high that capped the market. I then think we're taking out these highs, and then we can talk about higher moves to 24K. But till then, I remain cautious. I hope you guys have a good week. Take it easy, and cheers.